ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Timeless Gamers Show, where our games and bodies may grow out of date, but our gaming experiences will forever remain timeless. All right. And, this podcast is now on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. And for all of our previous episodes, you can check out our YouTube channel, Timeless Gamers Show, or you can check out our website, timelessgamers.show. And you can also listen to us in all of the major audio streaming platforms by searching a Timeless Gamer Show. You can also have your suggestions, comments, or insults heard by sending them to timelessgamers.show@gmail.com. We'd also like to take this opportunity to show our appreciation to BitMap Books and Streamyard. Great books, great software. Check them all out. If you want to educate yourself with the history of video games by genre or by console systems, then the colorful picture books from BitMap might be what you are looking for. Check out BitMap Books using our link in the video description down below. For all of you planning to have your own podcast, webinars, and online meetings, the user-friendly app by Streamyard might be for you. Check out Streamyard using our link in our video description for a 14-day free trial. We'd also like to give a shout out to Shuffle Emporium. Get your trading cards and other anime-related goods by going to their official website, shuffleemporium.com, or searching Shuffle Emporium in Facebook. Previously on Timeless Gamer Show, what did we do, guys?
Video game subscriptions.
Yes, video game subscriptions. For those of you who are interested, you might want to check out our previous episode talking about the various video game subscriptions. But spoiler alert, Microsoft Game Pass wins the game for everybody. And basically that was what we talked about. You guys might want to check it out and see how the discussion went. You guys might still want to pitch in your opinions as to what you guys might like as a video game subscription. Your opinion might differ completely from ours. We absolutely respect that. Toss it in. The discussion is still open. And of course, if you're curious about the pros and cons of each one, you know what to do. You know where to go. For this week, though, we are going to talk about Kingsglaive Final Fantasy 15. What is Kingsglaive Final Fantasy 15? Jose, describe what it's all about.
Kingsglaive Final Fantasy 15 is a movie set before the actual Final Fantasy 15 game. I forget what the time period actually is. It might not even be that long, honestly.
If I remember correctly, the movie was occurring concurrently with the video game, correct?
Miss Hino?
Yeah, Miss Hino. If you can enlighten us, is the movie Kingsglaive Final Fantasy 15 occurring concurrently or at the same time? As
yes,
in the video?
Yes, I believe so, because I think some events that happened in the movie, you can also hear about it in the game itself. So I think some of the events are overlapping with each other.
I see. All right. So Final Fantasy 15 is, for those of you who do not know, is a video game set in the Final Fantasy universe. Not that it really means much, because Final Fantasy games generally aren't related with each other unless they're direct sequels to each other. But yeah, Final Fantasy 15 is a game in the Final Fantasy universe with the usual tropes, chocobos, SIDS, airships, things like that. But before we get into that, though, we have a special guest in our panel today. Jose, please do us the honor of introducing our special panelist for today.
Okay. So joining us today from the QCFP team is Sir Kazumi.
What's up, guys? I don't have much to say except I'm really excited to talk about the movie.
Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
All right. So for now, what is as is standard practice for here in Timeless Gamer Show, we have, before we get into the meat and potatoes of the topic, we have either a show and tell portion or gaming news. I am leaving it to panelist choice here. What do you guys want to do? Do you guys want to do show and tell, or do you guys want to do gaming news?
I have show and tell, since it's been a while since I've been
There
here.
you go.
Yeah.
Excellent. If we have show and tell, then let's have Miss Hinu do show and tell. What do we have for the audience this week?
Well, let's start with. I think these are the games I've mentioned previously. I've only got these recently, but I've bought them months ago. Just got these from my friend who bought this for me. So it's Stranger of Paradise. So it's like an alternate retelling of Final Fantasy One, the original Final Fantasy in HD for the PS4. Next, a game I finished recently with my sibling, Shredder's Revenge.
Oh, I love that game.
Not really my usual type of game, but I had so much fun. I had to buy a copy, and I originally was gonna get it on the Switch, but I think my Joy-Cons are already dying so much, so I got it on the PS4. Other recent game pickups, we have Kingdom Hearts Birth by Sleep, PlayStation Portable.
Nice.
We have Hookah Haze visual novel for the Nintendo Switch.
Hookah like
A
the
very
smoke?
a rather niche entry from Square Enix. I think it was
Oh.
around early pandemic era when they were releasing weird games, and this is a dungeon crawler. And yeah, I haven't checked this out yet, but it's unique, and I'm actually really intrigued. So I got
Nope.
this.
The cover is really interesting.
Yeah. Yeah,
Like,
it's
It's not something you think you
Grid
would
based.
normally put on there. That's weird. Like I can feel like a lot of people being off put by that cover. Like
true, but
I think it would
I
draw
don't know,
me towards it though. I would be like, "What is this? I want to play it."
yep.
For
Uh,
classic dungeon crawler fans like me, people who love Eye of the Beholder, Dungeon Master, or is that Dungeon Master, things like that. It might be intriguing for people like us, and most recently, Strangers of Sapphire Coast, if I remember correctly, and Class of Heroes for those who love first-person dungeon crawling games. That might appeal. Yeah. All right, continue, Messina.
Lastly, I Star Ocean till the end of time PS2. Um, it took me a while to get a copy of this because every time I'm seeing someone who's selling it online, they're only selling like the game disc. They do not have the. I don't know if this is soundtrack or a disc too, or there's always something missing. In short, so it has the manual, it has both of the discs, and sadly, it doesn't have the lenticular cardboard sleeve. But I don't know. Maybe I'll just. Yeah. But I guess a lot of games for me. A lot of them I already finished. But yeah, that's it for me. Back to you guys.
All right, nice choices, Miss Hino. I'm particularly interested in the Star Ocean series. That one that you showed, I didn't even know it had a soundtrack to it. So, yeah, I might have to hunt that down myself. How about you, Jose? Did you have any loot for the week? I know myself. There is the ongoing spring video game sale on Woot.com. I know we're not
me
Woot
too.
partners. We're not partners of Woot yet. We're not partners of Woot yet. But yeah. If you guys want, there's the spring video game sale happening on Woot.com right now, and they have 10% off if you use the app from Woot. Anyway, go for it, Jose.
Yeah, I've been hitting the Woot sales pretty hard. So
Oh my goodness.
I got Formaggio.
Nice. Okay.
And then I got I don't know what it is, but I wanted it. It's called Blazing Strike. I think it's a fighting game.
Oh, I'm not familiar with that one. I think
Yeah.
Shin Mamuchu might be more familiar with that one. But yeah, it looks like a fighting game.
Yeah, and then I got Killer Clowns from Outer Space, the game.
Okay, there you
I
go.
don't know if you guys ever watched that movie.
No, I don't think I have either. I sometimes I mix it up in my head between Killer Clowns from Outer Space and Insane Clown Posse, but I digress. Anyway.
And then just because I play anything, I got this Nick Jr. Party Adventure.
Heck, I'd play it.
Wait,
Yeah.
what's included? Wait, I didn't see the cover. What are the titles included?
There, I
We
know
got
Dora is there.
Dora, we got Paw
Patrol.
Patrol, we got Jake and the Neverland Pirates.
Can't go without that.
Oh yeah.
I think that's Blaze.
Shit. That's nice. That's cool.
And then I did pick up this.
Oh, nice. Very cool. The Suikoden compilation of
Yeah.
high
And then
def.
I got Totally Spies for PS5.
Oh, Totally Spies. Yeah. I
What?
completely forgot that show. Yeah.
What?
Mhm.
Oh hell yeah! There's a
No!
PS5 on the PS5.
Side-
We're in the
Is
future.
it beat 'em up? What is it? Holy shit!
Yeah.
I need that.
All right.
I'm not
we
sure.
just went from
I'll
PG
get
to
back
R.
to you,
Okay.
right?
All right. Describe, Jose. What's the gameplay?
I have no idea, honestly. It doesn't say on the back.
It doesn't
It looks
say.
like
All right, we'll have to check the video, the trailer.
but I
on
think it was only like $10.
Ah,
It's pretty
okay.
cheap,
Well, Miss Hino's gonna be looking for that in the market now. Mhm.
right? And that's about it.
All right, that's wonderful, excellent. My stuff is still gonna be coming down from the wood pipe. I am probably gonna get that sometime within the week. You guys will probably see it next week. But yeah, generally that is the show and tell for this episode. Big gaming news, just one piece from me, since I don't have anything to show. One piece of big gaming news this past week is Oblivion, the remastered game, just came out on Microsoft Game Pass and multiple platforms. So that is a way for you guys to relive running around in the Elder Scrolls Oblivion in much better graphics style. And if I remember correctly, all the same cheats and bugs that you can exploit so that your character can max out the level before even stepping out of the tutorial cave. So yeah, the Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion.
I have something to add, actually.
Yes, go ahead, Mistito. Go ahead.
Before we even got the rumors that there's gonna be like a remaster / remake for Oblivion, our trusty modders for the various Elder Scroll games, they were making Skyblivion. They were trying to remake Oblivion in the Skyrim engine, and people were actually scared because they might get the cease and desist since we're gonna have an official Oblivion remake. But no, the Bethesda actually retweeted them, gave them the codes for the remake of Oblivion, and they're just letting them continue with Skyblivion. So we love developers who supporting their community, pro mods. It's amazing, and I hope a lot more devs do that. It just gives them more flowers, more kudos points to the community.
Absolutely. We love here in Timeless Gamers devs who support the community and don't crack down just because you guys are doing a fan remake or something that pays homage to the classic games. But yeah,
Palworld.
Palworld. Preservation, and we are all about looking back and being able to enjoy the things that we used to. Let's give the floor to Kazumi. Kazumi, do you have any piece of news for us for the week, just in case? If not, then that's fine.
All I know is I have really hot takes about the Switch too.
There you go. Let's hear it.
I'm one of the people who are upset about it. I think that's like the major bandwagon.
Oh yeah.
To hate on it. I mean, but that's it's the same with when the GameCube came out. Oh, it's just a little purple whatever lunchbox, and now everybody's like, oh, I wish I had one. So like my only hot take is that like they should have waited. Like I have the OLED and the original, so it's like my opinion is, and I'm not even surprised that they did this. I mean, look at how many iterations the 3DS has gone through.
It's very true. Very true. Yeah,
you
and that's perfectly valid opinion. Honestly, I completely agree with you, Kazumi, because of the fact that the Switch 2 is a hot topic and a hot item right now. I hear that pre-orders have completely sold out on
of course
from all from all the markets: Target, Walmart, Best Buy. You can't get the Switch 2 anymore.
Japan.
Yep, there you go. So yeah, a lot of people are ordering it from abroad, but I seem to recall mention that it was region locked. I could be wrong on that one though.
There's a Japanese specific one that's just for Japanese.
Mm-hmm.
That makes more sense.
Yeah. All right. So getting into the main topic of the day, we will be turning it over to our show captain right now, Jose. Tell us all about Kingsglaive Final Fantasy and what. Just introduce us. What Kingsglaive Final Fantasy is all about, and tell us what it's about and what the general concept is.
Okay, so Kingsglaive Final Fantasy 15 is a movie. When it starts off, it's years before Final Fantasy 15. There's I forget the name of the country we're in. Tenebrae? Something like that?
Tenebrae.
Oh, okay, they're
Anyway,
they are what's funny? They have like these borders around their cities that reminds me of the borders that they have in Spirits Within to protect the city.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Except there's
the
no
audience
ghost aliens.
Sure, Jose is a huge Final Fantasy Spirits Within fan, but let's
Miss Hina too.
Oh yeah, that's true. That's true. If you guys want to hear the discussion that we had about the Final Fantasy Spirits Within movie, check our previous episode. But back to you, Jose.
And I forget where they actually travel to. They're traveling to somewhere for the for Noctis as a child. I guess he has an illness, and the other nation, Niflheim, takes the opportunity to attack them, and they try to kill Noctis, and I think they end up killing the queen, and who saves her son from being killed. And then the king runs away with Noctis and Lunafreya, and then she just, for some reason, just kind of stops, and he just keeps going, and so she's like held captive for like a good part of her life by this other nation, and then the king builds his own private army that he calls the Kingsglaive. And I don't know. And then they basically help fight against this other nation. Things ensue, and then they eventually end up getting the princess back. We're spoiling the movie, right?
No. Well, let's do a 75% spoiler.
Okay.
Because of the people who might want to watch the movie, at least have an idea of what it's about and kind of like what to expect. But let's not give away the ending if there is an ending. Anyway. All right. So pretty good rundown today. And I would say, guys, Kazumi and Miss Hinu, please feel free to jump in with your descriptions or opinions as to what the movie is about, or how you feel about the way that the movie progressed. So yeah, that's a good encapsulation of it, Jose. And honestly, right off the bat, it sets up a very intriguing premise of politics, intrigue, and possibly even how loyalty is tested between peoples, between monarchs, and between soldiers. So yeah, Miss Hino, I'd like to hear your opinion on the movie in general. How it comes across to you when you first saw it.
I watched this movie twice. Once was I think after I finished the game. I watched the movie. I was just pretty graphics, but the story really didn't sink in. I wasn't too enthusiastic by the end of it, but I rewatched it yesterday and I actually enjoyed it more. Maybe it's because I don't know. I fully digested the story of FF15, its characters, the world, and whatnot. And my impression was that the bigger conflict within the FF15 universe is two warring nations, the Niflheim and what's the other name? Lucis.
Yeah,
I forgot that.
Lucis. Yeah.
Lucis. Um, so it's been decades. They're still at war, and the last standing bastion of the Lucis front is where Noctis lives. It's the capital of Insomnia. Now, what happens at the movie is that Niflheim, the big baddie, goes to to the Lucis side, and hey, why don't we have a peace treaty? And we're gonna do that by having our representative, the Princess Luna Freya, marry your Prince Noctis, and that's their union is gonna be like the whole we're in peace and whatnot. But then the twist to all of this is that how sincere really is Niflheim in in um in their proposal for a peace treaty. So that's where the tension is. Joel mentioned earlier about politics. You can see the inner workings. You're gonna see the sides of each of the kingdoms. You're gonna see the respective kings. You're gonna see their chancellors, their in the Game of Thrones, their the council on the table, and it's nice. And not only that, you also see the kings, the king's personal guard, Kingsglaive. You also get to see their perspective. I mean, sure, they're the king's elite guard, but technically on the versus the grand scheme of things, they're just grunts. They're just soldiers. They're just being sent out to whatever mission without even knowing what is like the political ramifications of going to said mission. So that is where the conflict. It's like a micro story, since it's just set in the capital of Insomnia, wherein the events of the game is the whole world outside Insomnia. So I guess it's more easy to digest since it's just centered on this one place, this one conflict, and I think it's also a good means of getting to know Luna Freya better. I've been reading a lot of insights from the players that Luna Freya didn't have much screen time on the video game, but here in the movie, you get to really know her, you get to appreciate her, and you get to know what her thoughts are in this whole conflict. Is she angry against Noctis' side for not defending Tenebrae? Is she siding with Niflheim, who took in their country, and where does her loyalty lie? So yeah, that's to me that was an interesting little insight to the inner politics of the FF15 world. Now, I would hand it over to. I think that's it for me. Before I spout some spoilers some more, so I'll hand it back to you guys.
No, it's good. And the fact is, it sets up the tone as to how the discussion is going to go. Because everybody is free to toss in their opinions, not just here in the panel, but also in the audience. We love hearing from the audience, not just in real time, but also after the episode. We want to hear what you guys think about our discussion and about the topic itself. So Christopher Abestado has been very vocal in the audience, and we're thankful for that. So he says, at least they made the prologue into movie to explain the game story better than Lacia and Falsi in Final Fantasy 13. That's a very, very good point. A very, very good point, Christopher. And honestly, I completely agree with you on that one. We'll get into that a little bit more as we go, but I want to hear from Kazumi on this one. Kazumi, I'd like to hear what your take is on, shall we say, the intro of Final Fantasy, of Kingsglaive Final Fantasy 15. What your initial impressions of it were when you first saw it, and how does it stand up right now from your perspective, Kazumi?
So, like, I was really interested in what Hinotoro was saying, because I agree. A lot of it is there's a lot of political intrigues, kind of like hidden between all these like really fast cuts, because like the movie's trying to get to all this information that they were gonna put in the game, but they couldn't do it, time constraints and whatever. Very valid. Toro was very valid to go off. Like I wish I could go off in that detail. But I think a lot of the comments too were like, really good stuff about Luna robbing the cradle. No, but like Luna's such an interesting character. Like everybody laments how because I don't want to spoil the movie either, so I'm gonna like just rant on a little bit about Luna Freya if that's okay. Because she's such a big part of it. Everybody knows about Versus 13, right? Like, and how 13 and 15 were supposed to be part of the same universe and all that. I think Luna's very interesting because in the original Versus 13, she was supposed to be kind of like an ethereal kind of character. You're never really supposed to know much about her, and then what happens in the game happens. And I guess I wanted to point out how in the beginning of the movie, yeah, you see them as kids and all that, but the rest of the movie actually happens during the events of the game, right after King Regis sends Noctis out with the king's guard, which is the ones who protect the prince, his brothers and all that. I think I can't now that somebody pointed it out. I can't get the part from the the beginning of the movie where it's like all these immigrants, like they say it with like a chagrin, and it's crazy. Another thing I wanted to point out was the with the political intrigue was that if you listen carefully, and this is something that you have to like watch it a second time to understand, every person that has to do with politics, like King Regis when he's talking to the Niflheim guy, if you listen to them very carefully, you can hear that they're just dripping with sarcasm. Like they're talking to each other all formally and all that. They sound polite at first, but then in reality they're like very mean to each other, and you can feel the tension, and that's something I really like about this movie. I think I might have gotten carried away too.
No. That's perfectly fine, and that we love strong opinions and strong emotions here in Timeless Gamer. We love.
I want to piggyback.
Yes, go ahead.
After what Kazumi said. Major props to the voice actors. I'm not familiar with the Japanese dub. Normally, I'm very biased towards the Japanese dubs, but when I heard that King Regis is gonna be Sean Bean, and then Luna Freya is gonna be Lena Headey, and then we have like the main character of the Kingsglaive. What's this? I'm suddenly
Aaron Paul
blanking out at his name. What's his name?
Aaron
Paul. I'm like, damn, those are big names. How did Square get them? And it's just so nice because like I love Game of Thrones. It's Game of Thrones and Final Fantasy in one work, and then there's also Aaron Paul on Breaking Bad, and I love all of their performances in the movie, and I agree. You have the sarcasm, the tone, the cautiousness. You can really feel the tension, and sure, voice acting and acting is not the same art in itself, but I think that they've all nailed it. They did such a good job of bringing the characters to life, even if that's not their usual job per se. So that's it from my end, guys.
Now, there's something to be said for professional actors doing voiceovers. Some of them do bring in the gravitas, bring in the the level of performance, bring the level of performance up. And I would completely agree with this one. Sad to say, in my case, the time that I was able to watch it, I was only able to watch it on Amazon Prime, and they only had the English dub. So we didn't have the choice for the Japanese version of it. So, but we watched it on the English dub, and not like a lot of other voiceover actors who just phone it in, and you can just hear how bored they are with doing what they're doing. This one, they really put in the effort of making sure that the emotion carried across the screen, and you're not just watching what's the right word for it, puppets talk, like how
Yeah.
the old Thunderbirds TV series used to be. If you guys are old enough to remember the old Thunderbirds puppet show where they would be puppets with mouths moving and everything and head shaking a little bit, that was how some CGI movies came across in the early days, where you just thought it was, it was just basically puppets moving around. This one, the voice actors brought their A game, they brought the emotion into it, and they elevated the movie. But yeah, Jose, bringing it back to you, show captain, could you tell us a little bit about the movie production itself, the release of the movie, when it happened, what the box office figures were, and how well it performed, and does it still hold up today in terms of in terms of audience score, shall we say?
Okay, let's see. This movie debuted in Japan in 10th place, selling 22,000 tickets, give or take, almost 23,000, for a total of I'm just gonna say in American, $345,000 in just 2 days. So I don't know, like, if that's good or bad for Japanese.
I think those are pretty solid figures. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And then during its openings, it had a limited run in the United States. The film grossed further 190,000, eventually grossed 269,000 in the region. So we got all the weebs to go watch it.
Well, the thing about it is, what year was it, though, Jose, that it came out in the US?
It was, let me see, I just literally pulled it up.
Yeah.
2016, I think.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go. Yeah, July 9th, 2016.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, people were still going to the movies back then. There was no such thing as COVID yet. But we were spoiled for choice. There was a lot of movies showing during that time. So I wouldn't be surprised if it got buried in the glut of movies during that time, 2016. That was already was it post Endgame? Was it post Endgame time during that time? Avengers Endgame. Kazumi might know though. Kazumi, are you familiar with the timelines of the Marvel Avengers Endgame series?
Nope.
No, not very. Okay, no worries. But yeah, I do recall.
No, Endgame was 2019, and
2019.
Infinity War was 2018.
So everybody was in the fit of Marvel movies back then, one after the other. Everybody was just watching lots of different movies, and I wouldn't be surprised if Kingsglaive really got buried in the avalanche of movies during that time.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. All right, so
the movie actually did. The movie actually did better on home video.
Well, so, I'm not surprised. Yeah,
it says it was among the top 20 best-selling DVD and Blu-ray releases for October 2016. Says the two releases reached a combined gross of $4.5 million in the U.S. And that's just DVD Blu-ray. So other than that, Rotten Tomatoes doesn't have a really good score on it.
Yeah, well,
and neither does Metacritic. Neither does Metacritic.
Rotten Tomatoes hasn't been very reliable in terms of reviews recently, anyway. So I'm not really putting much stock on it. I tend to listen more to Metacritic, the audience score, the people, the user reviews. Those tend to be much more genuine, in my opinion. But yeah, that's just me. I would say I want to approach this from the point of view of somebody who's played and finished the game. Miss Hinu, Final Fantasy 15. How does it stack up? Kingsglaive, comparing the experience of playing Final Fantasy 15 and by itself, and playing Final Fantasy 15 and having watched the movie. Does it enhance the experience overall?
I believe so, but if it were up to me, I would suggest play the game first, then watch the movie. I mean, you can still go with the route that watch movie, play game, rewatch the movie. But I think since they're cramming so much information in the movie about the world setting, the politics, the characters, the time skips from the childhood up to their adulthood. So, like, I think people are gonna get confused. So I think it would be better if they just play the game first, and then when they get around to watching the movie, they're gonna be like, "Oh, so that's what happened. Oh, that's where that character was. I think it's better that way." Um, any other people from the panel who also finished the game and watch the movie? What do you guys think?
uh, it used to be some. I spent 2 years streaming Final Fantasy 15 playthroughs on Twitch a long time ago.
Okay, there you go.
I have to do that again sometime. Now that I watched the movie again, I had the special edition when it came out. So I had the movie and I had the game. I was kind of torn about which one should I do, right? Yeah, I have the steelbook. Yes, that's the one. That's the
Is that the one? Is that the one that came with the anime too?
So the anime, I think you had to catch it some other way that I never got to watch.
The anime is in the Ultimate Collector's one. This is just the deluxe edition.
Yeah. So I missed out on the anime, but it's not a bad watch, I guess. I don't know. I'm still of the opinion that we could have had all of that in the game, but Square Enix does Square Enix. They couldn't put their jewelry money on it. Which what I mean by that is that the jewelry that Square Enix sells can be extremely expensive, and none of it goes towards their games, it seems. That's another spicy opinion.
No, we love spicy opinions here in Timeless Gamer Show, Kazumi. Bring it on, honestly. You should hear us when we're like, off camera.
We like spicy opinions and spicy pictures.
Oh yeah, there you go. I
all right.
Yeah.
Oh man. So no, but I have a whole lot of love for 15. So whenever somebody mentions it, I kind of like jump topics because there's so much to say. There's an entire world that it's still untouched, and I'm just gonna quickly
go ahead.
Final Fantasy 16 took notes. They took notes. There's a lot of things that you could have that you've. It's in 15. It's in 15. A lot of plot points in the story are like, that's the taste familiar. You know what I mean? I'm gonna leave that for. I'm not gonna spoil anything. But I guess what were we talking about again? Like I started learning how about 15.
We were talking about how large the world is and how much there is to explore.
It's insane.
Finishing the game and the movie. I mean, how was the experience for both?
It was insane. I guess I saw the movie first. I couldn't help it because I was waiting for the game to download. You know how it was with the PS4 and all that. I think it was such a mystery. Like Luna Freya was such a focal point in the mystery because it's like, oh, who is she supposed to be? Oh, people were going, oh, she doesn't have any character, but she does. It's just that's not how the writing is. She's not meant to be anything that you know. You're supposed to be as confused as Noctis. You're going through his point of view, And I think watching the movie first, for me, it actually really enhanced the experience because I was like so confused, the whole time. But it started to make more and more sense when I played the game afterwards. And watching it again last night blew my mind. There were so many things I didn't notice at first because I was younger. I think I was like still a teenager. I'm not anymore. Let's just say that.
Well, for those of you, if I can interject, for those of you who are watching us live right now and will be watching this show on replay on video, please don't be surprised that we are only showing stills of the movie because in our past experience here in Timeless Gamer Show, if we start showing video clips, there's a chance we can get copyright struck. So Square, like Kazumi says, Square Enix being Square Enix, we are just forced to show stills right now. So, hashtag FUFB. So anyway, continue.
Man, she's pretty. I know they used a different person for.
Yeah, she is. It's a more realistic Luna. She's so pretty.
She's gorgeous. I think Hinotoro gets me when I say that. I think her decision in the movie to say no, and stay behind was a very interesting move. And just like Joel was saying, like you know, it's you don't know where her loyalties lie, and I think it's safe to say after playing the game that like she's someone who she loves her people, you know, like genuinely loves her people. She's just a good person, and it was tough to you know stay behind. I'm pretty sure.
Typical Jaw. We for those of you who are just sorry to give you a pause for a moment there.
Oh, wait a second.
No. Yeah, typical Jaw. Our you know our overall boss here, who's in the audience right now, but still participates as best as he can, which is very very good. We love how here in Timeless Gamer Show we do our very best, even if we can't make it to send in videos or to try to participate even in chats. Jaw says, for a hot minute there, I thought Nyx would be tapping that before Noctis can get a taste. And to be fair,
yes,
I thought so for a moment
too.
Yeah, there you go.
Yes,
I
that
thought,
the movie
Yeah.
so good about that.
Same
There was this little tension between the two of them. I was like, am I just imagining it?
Yeah. Same
Am I just a filthy shipper?
Yeah.
Well, I know I am.
Shipper. Okay. That's you know that's a pretty good description of it. You know, kind of like how you get Obi-Wan and Amidala, you know, shipped in your head somehow. But anyway. But yeah, that there is a moment there that you thought for a bit, because they had some tension between the two of them, as Miss Hina would have pointed out. And as Joe says, she looked like a young Uma Thurman, and that's not a bad thing to be. Would you agree with that? Kazmi.
No, I can't even look at the other monitor to see her, so because like I'm gonna get distracted. She's very beautiful in the movie. Yeah.
Okay, understood. Go ahead.
What are we talking about?
Well, he's completely distracted.
When I was rewatching the movie yesterday, I was like gushing, but because I was playing FF4 after years on the side, I'm like, God, I'm so gay for Luna. I'm already gay for her in the game, and then on the movie version, I'm like, God, it's realistic. I'm so gay.
Honestly, whoever did the character models here really put in a lot of effort, and
a lot of love.
A lot of love too. And honestly, I can say one thing about the movie: it is gorgeous overall. The movie itself is gorgeous.
The movie, like for a second, like I would like look over to see something, and I'd look back, and I could swear I was watching a movie with like real live action people.
Agreed.
It's
I agree.
Their jewelry money totally.
Like I'm literally about to order the 4K version of this so that I can watch it like that.
Yeah. I mean, if your TV is capable of it, and if you have a player capable of playing 4K,
we've come a long way from Spirits Within to Advent Children, and now we have Kingsglaive.
Oh my God!
What a journey!
And yeah, honestly, the thing another thing that I would give as a plus to the movie, aside from the gorgeous graphics, is the world feels alive. Whenever you see the city, whenever you see the cityscapes, whenever the camera pans through the streets and everything, it's not dead. You can see people walking around. You can see that the area has lived in. You can see that the buildings look like they're in use. They're not just there as a facade looking pretty and everything. They look like they are being used as office spaces, living spaces, and everything. It looks like the place is actually alive. And that is one huge plus that I can give to Kingsglaive as a setting, shall we say. Jose, what is your opinion on that one?
Yeah, the world, just like the movie, like the characters themselves, the world is beautiful. I loved the overall. Whenever you'd see a shot of the city or just going through the city, everything gorgeous. You could just see that there is life in this. It's not like the PS1 games where you would have just like the static background and the characters moving through. No, this is like the complete opposite. Like just everything has character to it. They did a really good job with this movie. Like comparing it to, even though I love it, comparing it to Spirits Within, where it was just kind of like nothing going on, and that had the excuse that it was apocalyptic, but that look at that that is gorgeous right there.
Yeah, it reminded me of walking around in New York City. Honestly, it got that vibe of it. Yeah, it was a cross between New York City and Avenida. For those of you who are not familiar with Avenida in the Philippines, Avenida is one of the main thoroughfares in Manila, which is super busy. And like there's this rail station up on top of it. There's extremely busy city streets, people walking around all hours of the day, not just during daytime but also nighttime. It gave New York Avenida vibes to me, and it transmitted a feeling of liveliness, of being alive as a living city to me. That is how it felt.
I'm like, just look at this picture. It looks realistic. It looks like someone just snapped a picture like while they're visiting somewhere, and then like this could be a postcard.
Yeah, true. Very true. I'm interested in Miss Hino's opinion.
Go ahead. I really like the little details that you can see throughout the film. Sure, the Kingsglaive are like elite guards of the ruler of this country, but at the same time, when you look behind the scenes, you can see that they're just living in, relatively simple quarters. You can see them going to like a pub. You see the food. You can see there's a TV playing at the background. There's some cartoons sometimes. Sometimes you'll see the news. And I like those. It adds more life to the city. And I remember one scene in the movie. Our protagonist of the Kingsglaive, we have Nix. He was stationed to highway patrol. So he was just like standing at the toll gate, waiting for, incoming traffic from outside the city. And then his companion, the other guard standing there, he said like, it's like there's not much action here, but this is 100 years of peace looks like. And that hit me because normally when we talk about fantasy games, movies, other media, it's always about the big war. But we never really talk about, the peaceful moments wherein you have a good king who cares about his people and whatnot. And here we're seeing the calm before the storm. You can see that the city, the country is living as usual. Many people at the streets and whatnot. And then you compare it to the game once you play it. You can see like the aftermath of the continuing war. So it's just really fascinating that you get to see that tiny window of peace before the events of the game.
Excellent analysis, Miss Hino. I want to hear Kazumi's opinion on it, on the living world concept of how graphically beautiful the place is as a living world. Kazumi, did it impact you at all when you were watching it?
That's a very good question because like I'm an artist myself, and I've done this for like 20 years, and I will never be at the level of just look at what's on the screen. Like, oh my gosh, like there is like a big old clean city, right? And then there's also this like seedy little underbelly where the main character of the Kingsglaive comes up.
Yes.
And you gotta wonder, they never give you enough detail. There's never enough detail about Insomnia. That's the thing. I think I love it now about 15. So I think Hinotora put it all up really well, and man, I can't get over it. I really have nothing to say. It leaves me speechless.
Kazumi is experiencing overwhelming sensations. Right
yeah,
now.
absolutely.
Go ahead, Miss Hino.
I want to add that as an artist as well, I can't imagine the amount of work that they've put in creating the concept art, the sketches, the approval, modeling it in 3D, rendering it in 3D, and then you only get to see those structures for a brief second, just in passing, to be used only once, and you will never see those places in the game.
Yeah,
It's
it
like
hurts.
the amount of effort, time, money to create this living world is astounding. It's like I think movies like this, like Spider Man, what they call that, the Spider Verse and whatnot.
Right.
These animated movies need to be rewatched and rewatched because that's when you get to appreciate all of the little details that are only shown on screen for a couple of seconds.
Yeah,
Now,
I was marveling at this because I've never even seen this shot before.
mhm.
I'm still learning about this game to this day.
Well, the thing about it is, it enhances the feeling of a living city, of of a living world. It's not just like you said, Kazumi. It's not just the beautiful streets, nice and clean, where everybody's walking around, shining and all that. It's the seedy parts of it. It's the esteros. It's the little alleyways that people kind of hide in and have a beer at. And like, it kind of ties into my comparison of Avenida being a really busy thoroughfare. And if you go down the alleyways of Avenida, you will see sections of that part of the city exactly like this. Dark corners, dark alleys, not necessarily safe, but yes, they are lived in, and they are a real part of the city as well, where sunlight doesn't always filter into. Shadows abound, but yes, people live there, and people do show the how life is on the ground level. So yeah, that it is quite an experience. And Christopher actually did say here in the chats that I'm a 3D animator myself, and I can tell you this is the most realistic render I have ever seen. Christopher, you're not kidding on that one. Yeah. All right, there you go. So we can wax poetic about the graphics, but yes, that generally is our rundown of how Kingsglaive Final Fantasy 15 looks. It is a gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous movie. Jose, what is going to be next on our conversation list? Shall we talk about the storyline this time?
Yeah.
All
Miss
right.
Hinu, you want to talk about the story?
Yeah, storyline. So for the first few minutes of the movie, uh as mentioned earlier, we get to this little flashback. We see younger Noctis, younger Luna Freya, King Regis, going to Tenebrae for maybe visit and whatnot. And it's during that time wherein we get wa- the incoming war with Niflheim. Now, it's been mentioned earlier several times that Luna Freya, instead of running to safety along with Noctis and his father, seeking refuge in their country, she stays behind because she knows that she has her people. There's her people, there's her brother. Her mother was just slain a few seconds later, and it adds this complexity. And now you're questioning if her loyalty, would it remain to Noctis and his family, or would she change minds because she spent literally more years of her life now under the Niflheim rule versus the Lucis side. So, and then we fast forward to present day. We get to know more about the Kingsglaive. They get sent out to missions varying from little, what do you call this? Some skirmishes and whatnot, fighting the opposing Niflheim soldiers, and you actually get to see little bits and pieces about the gameplay mechanics in the game. Here in the movie, you get to see a bunch of summoners. It takes maybe 5 or 6 summoners to cast this powerful spell, and I think the adaptation. Because normally when you're playing a game, you're just pressing buttons, casting whatever, whatnot, and normally you're just controlling one character who's casting the magic. Now to see it in the movie, and they adapted this into casting spells in this world is not as easy as pressing one button or two buttons. You need like a group of mages to just cast this one powerful spell, and that would drain all of their magical powers. We have our foot soldiers, the rest of the Kingsglaive, they're fighting melee. They mostly fight with swords, knives, and whatnot. And you can also see them doing the teleport trick that Noctis primarily uses in the game. And one little tidbit about this is that the Kingsglaive, they're normal people, but they were chosen because they were compatible with King Regis's magic. So they are a select elite of individuals who can harness the power of Regis, use it to their advantage, fight wars, defend the city when needed, defend the civilians and whatnot. And I really like those little details because remember, in this movie we are at war, and the only person supplying magic to the Kingsglaive is the king himself. And now we're not even sure about the king's safety, since we don't know how sincere the Niflheim, the opposing side, is with the peace treaty. So like, the little things, the little tensions of it all, it's really nice. And once we get to know more about the Kingsglaive, here comes young adult Lunafreya, and she just wants to meet up with Noctis, I think, at this point. But then, politics. They're just controlling her. We're gonna use you, blah blah blah, for our plans, and she knows something is up. Something's kind of fishy, but might as well visit Noctis's place. And then she meets the King's Guard, and you get to see the dynamics of what do you call this? Opposing sides that eventually, something is suspicious going around here, and you get to see how each side reacts to the unfolding events. The big confusion about this peace treaty, is it real or not? And that's where it lies. You're gonna see what's gonna happen to the supposed treaty. You're gonna see what happens to the Kingsglaive. Why are they not as prominent in the game? You get to see what happened to Lunafreya before she was traveling in the events of the game. You get to see what happens to King Regis when Noctis left with his Choco Bros. And
Choco Bros. Okay, got it.
That's basically it.
Definitely the way that it's phrased, Choco Bros. Anyway.
Very well put.
Yeah, but for Kazumi, let me ask him. Am I to understand, Kazumi, that you have played the game also?
It's been a while, but yeah, there was a period of time where I would just stream multiple playthroughs. I think I was on my 6th one when I stopped.
Okay, understood. So in this case, does the plot of Kingsglaive Final Fantasy 15? I'm absolutely sure it ties into the game itself. I'm going through the game myself. I'm only up to chapter 4 so far. Would you say that the plot plays really, really... does the plot play well into playing the game? Does it enhance the game playthrough?
Yeah, absolutely. So like now when you get the game now on Steam or whatever, you can get there's this section in the beginning where you can see clips of the movie in the game. You didn't have that before when you got the original Final Fantasy 15. So for the way I experienced the timeline, I had watched the movie first. I didn't understand any of it because I was a kid, and then playing the game. I don't want to spoil it for you now. Now that I know that you're on chapter 4, but you know, having to piece those things together over the course of like maybe like a year, I would say the movie definitely enhances the experience of playing the game.
Okay. I definitely, and now that I've seen it, I can honestly say that I would agree with you, Jose. Would you say on your part that sure the storyline, it can get a little convoluted with the movie, and let's just be honest, with the game as well, would they complement each other in terms of storyline though?
I think, like, I forget where I left off in the game, but it looks like it.
There you go. Kazumi's whispering truth there. There you go.
I forget where I left off. It was probably very early on. But it does look like it explains a lot more, because I remember Lunafreya being mentioned in the beginning of the game, and I didn't know who that was. And now I watched the movie and I'm like, okay, now I know who that is. But I think that they look like and then hearing what Miss Hinu and Sir Kazumi have to say, it seems like they really do complement each other and they really work well together. But my question for them is, if you guys have played A King's Tale, Final Fantasy 15, and how does that enhance the experience even more?
I'm sorry, what was...
A King's Tale, Final Fantasy 15?
Is that the chibi version of the game?
Explain, Jose.
No, it's not. It's not Final Fantasy 15 Pocket.
Wasn't that Regis's story?
Yeah, this is about the king.
I guess if you like supplemental information, but by the time it came out, I was kind of tired of,
Yeah, because right here it says that A King's Tale Final Fantasy 15 is a 2D side-scrolling brawler set 30 years before the events of Final Fantasy 15.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that serves as a really, really good segue into the next part of the show, where we're going to be discussing our favorite characters. But before that, Jose, I think it's time to take a short commercial break. What do you say?
Yes. Commercial break. All right.
Time. So for that, I will have Jose take us away for a quick commercial break, and to let the audience know that we are being supported by these guys. Take it away, Jose.
Start your own online live streams, webinars, podcasts, online classes, and virtual presentations with Streamyard. Start your own online. Do you like playing video games? Do you like reading about history? Do you like learning about video game history? Then you should give yourself the gift of owning some video game history books from BitMap. Since 2014, BitMap Books have published numerous colorful and well-detailed hardbound books about video games, ranging from the different video game consoles of old and the various video game genres that will surely pique the interest of its core fanbase. BitMap's team of global video game journalists, players, and illustrators have produced numerous award-winning titles that celebrate the software, hardware, and developers that laid down the foundations for the billion-dollar video game industry we all know and love today. International shipping is also available with careful and considerate packaging from BitMap Books. If you don't want to take my word for it, then you can believe the people, almost 10,000 satisfied customers who submitted their glowing written reviews and video reviews after receiving their books from BitMap. By ordering your first BitMap book using our link, you will also be supporting the Timeless Gamers Show in spreading our love of video games and their rich history. Start your own online live streams, webinars, podcasts, online classes, and virtual presentations with StreamYard. By using StreamYard's user-friendly interface, you can also do simultaneous multi-streaming if you have accounts to Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and other platforms. If live streaming is not your style, video and audio recordings are also available, especially with those who have variable and inconsistent internet connections. The finished output will still come out as clear and well articulated exactly as you originally intended. You can also customize the appearance of your presentation, like green screen effects, facial touch-ups to smoothen out those facial blemishes, multiple cameras for multiple guests joining in the discussion, your own wallpaper on the background, adding your own logo as a watermark, sharing videos from your own computer or other website for added visual aids with or without audio, uploading your own background music if you wish to set the mood when talking, and lots more. Before you can enjoy all of the wonderful full features of StreamYard, you can start with a 14-day free trial by using our link. Not only that you are supporting the Timeless Gamers Show, but you can see it for yourself how easy it is using StreamYard.
All right. Thank you so much, BitMap Books and StreamYard. We love your books. We love StreamYard. Guys, you want top quality stuff? Check out our referral links. Click on them. Help support the show. All right. To continue, we are going to be discussing our favorite characters of Kingsglaive Final Fantasy XV. And who better to lead that charge than Kazumi, who has gone through how many playthroughs of the game, Kazumi? I think you said about 6, right?
6.
Yeah,
I'm on my
6.
7th now.
There you go. All right. So I guess, and of course, being having played through the game and watched the movie, I'm absolutely sure you've chosen your favorite character. And I can kind of predict which one it is. So tell us which one it is and why.
So we're talking about favorite characters from the movie or the game?
Let's do the movie then.
I think, I think we can all agree that Nyx is the best one.
Okay.
The main character.
What's your argument for Nyx?
I was thinking about that as I was watching it last night. Because the movie does a lot to point out very subtly that he's kind of just a nobody. And I say subtly until like a certain part of the movie where he kind of just says it himself. But it's one of those underdog stories, and I love those. So I think he really fits into a lot of like tropes that I enjoy about just Japanese stuff in general. You know what I mean? He's very valiant and kind of like I would say a little egocentric, which is kind of there's a few of those in a few Final Fantasies, but not quite like Mr. Ulrich does. So I think he's a very unique character in all of Final Fantasy. I would say he's really good. He's my favorite.
All right, now that's a pretty accurate assessment of it. How about you, Miss Hinu? Would you agree with Kazumi on this one, or do you have a different pick of favorite character?
I'm torn between King Regis and Luna Freya.
Yeah,
Regis because very Ned Stark. I'm such a sucker for the morally straight characters who just wants the good for their kingdom, for their family, but they must make these steps that can be interpreted by negatively by those around them. So it's those conflicting of morals. And there's this one line that he says in the movie, "I'm too old to fight this war." So he's considering doing the peace treaty with Niflheim, even though he knows that maybe Niflheim will just, bleed their country dry, imprison all of their soldiers and whatnot. So I really love those types of characters. And then we have Luna Freya, who we get to no more in this movie, you know she's not only what they call this. She's kind of calculated when it comes to her actions. You don't see it that much in the game, but here in the movie, it's like you get to see the gears turning in her mind. Like, I
She's
need to do
sassy.
something. There's something wrong. I will fight back. Yeah, she's a fighter, and I forgot to mention this earlier in our intro. I believe that Luna Freya is not the girl that was shown in the Versus 13 trailers. I think the name of the other girl was Stella.
Yeah.
So people were looking for Stella, they got a Luna Freya. They both have the same intrigue, but Stella was set up more to be like the Juliet to the Romeo and Juliet plot point of Versus 13, wherein here in Luna Freya, we see a much more older character. Luna Freya is older than Noctis, and I like it. Right? We do not have here a bumbling damsel in distress princess. We see
Princess Peach.
here someone who's oh, and sure you can compare her to other Final Fantasy characters who are also princesses like Garnet. There's something different about. I guess it's also Kingsglaive feels like a more realistic, grounded interpretation of like politics within the fantasy world. So I don't know. There's something like the setting, the theme is more mature, and you really know that the characters aren't bumbling idiots. All of them in the movie. You know they're proper adults who know the ramifications of all of their actions as opposed to the actions of everyone, and I really like that. So can't choose between the two. Love them both. Two favorite characters, I guess. Back to you guys.
And of course, it doesn't hurt that Luna is a fine piece. Anyway,
Bob!
all right. Now,
Not,
Jose.
not to segue too far away, but right here, Christopher Abastado says Tetsuya Nomura's Versus 13 has different story along with Stella. And remember, Final Fantasy 15 started off as Final Fantasy Versus 13. I remember when they announced that on the PlayStation 3, heard nothing about it forever. And I remember hearing people being like, oh, there's a rumor that they're bringing it back and it's just going to be 15. And then it was like, boom, 15.
Okay. Well,
I wonder,
how about you, Jose? Who's your favorite Kingsglaive Final Fantasy 15 character and why?
Why? Well, I'm actually on the same boat as Sir Joe here, so I'm going to read his comment. Libertus is the breakout character for me. He had a lot more emotions to anyone else in this movie, and that's exactly my choice. You could see he's not afraid to speak his mind. He's loyal to his friends, his family. He's what gave the movie more emotion, and then to take a page out of Miss Hinu's what Miss Hinu says, I'm kind of gay for him.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Too. He's just not here to defend himself.
No judgment on this one, but yeah,
I will say for him, Sir Joel is also gay. Sir Joe is also gay for Libertus.
I would agree that Libertus is has a lot of character on this movie.
He's the most realistic character.
Yeah, he is.
He doesn't feel like a fictional.
Yes, Jose, you were saying.
He's the most what's that word? Where like you see yourself in someone? Oh my God, why am I blanking?
Yeah, it reflects who you are, or it reflects how you would react. Shall we say? Yeah, but in my case, I would tend. At this stage in my life, I kind of tend to identify more with King Regis because he's in an impossible situation. he's in an impossible place where whatever he chooses to do, whatever choice he decides to make, something bad will happen one way or the other. And as a
Yeah.
father and as a head of a family, I know that feeling very well. No, that there are moments, there are spots in your life where no matter what you choose to do, no matter which direction you choose to take, something bad is going to happen, and you just have to roll with it, and you have to make the most of whatever the situation is. So King Regis would be, for me, that character. He wasn't really fleshed out so far in the game that I played in Final Fantasy 15, but this one really put character into who he is and what his dilemma is. That's my breakout character of the movie.
Sean B.
The word was, he's the most relatable. I don't know why I couldn't think of that
Relatable.
damn word.
Yeah, there you go.
There we go.
Most relatable. Yeah, Libertus is the most relatable. And yeah, I completely
Sir
understand
Joe here
that.
says Luna here to me only served as a plot device. She is not really there for herself, but I can understand she would be fleshed out more in the game.
All right. Now, on the other end of the spectrum, who is your most disliked character in Kingsglaive Final Fantasy 15? All right, let's go the same route. Let's go the same rotation. Kazumi, who's your most disliked character in Kingsglaive?
I forgot the name of the right hand man for Regis. Guy who eventually ended up doing what he did. I think
The
he was
bald
kind
guy?
of like no.
Yeah.
Wait, he was bald?
Yeah, which one? The once more unto the fray, dear friend guy? The one who stood by him when
Yeah. I think he was kind of like boring. I don't have any basis for that. I think I've just seen that kind of adversary in every Final Fantasy since Final Fantasy 1. So I'm kind of tired of it. But I guess it's kind of like Luna herself. Just they're just there to like move shit along. So yeah, I mean, I guess that's it. But like, it's because I love everyone else. Like all of the characters kind of shine in their own way, even Luna. So it's like, I don't know. It's hard to dislike everyone because it's a good story. I don't know. I like it.
Okay. Now, Miss Hino, who's your most disliked Kingsglaive Final Fantasy 15 character?
The ruler of Niflheim, Regis's counterpart on the other side. I forgot is I don't know his name. Iedolas Aldercap.
Yeah.
But I dislike him in a good way. It's like hating a villain because the actor is so good in portraying said villains. He really felt like that. He felt slimy. You know that he is scheming. You know that he doesn't mean what he say. He may say some flowery words, flattery and whatnot, but you know that everything is dripping in sarcasm. And he has this air of superiority. Regis has an air of nobility to him, class nobility. Whereas Aldercap, he feels like a snob.
Okay.
An evil, rich snob who thinks everyone else around him is like nothing but little insects that he can trample on. So yeah, every time he appears on screen, I'm like, oh god, I wanna punch his guy. I love his drip, but I wanna punch his face. So that's for me.
We have a saying in the Philippines: if you become a character actor, do the villains, because you'll never run out of roles to play. And if you play a villain really well, then you know you're successful as a villain actor if people on the street want to walk up to you and punch you in the face, even if you're the nicest guy in the world. So that's kind of like, I guess, who's one of the villains in Philippine cinema? Bella Ramsey, am I remembering correctly? Yeah, or yeah, one of the guys in Cobra Kai, William Zabka. He's got a punchable face. You think he's a jerk, but he's one of the. I heard he's weirdly one of the nicest guys in the world. But yeah, I digress. Anyway, All right, Jose, who is your most disliked character in
uh-huh.
Kingsglaive?
Well, I'm gonna kind of go with Sir Joe right here, where he says not dislike per se. Ravis, the brother, I feel like we could have spent more time exploring his motivation. The Emperor was there in front of him. You would think he would do something during the fray. Yeah, I didn't really like him. Like, he was just a little bitch.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I was kind of glad what happened.
No spoiler.
Yeah, no spoiler. No, he lived a happy life.
Oh, there you go. Christopher Abistado says Paquito Diaz. Paquito Diaz is emblematic of the guy who always plays villains, and you just wanna put your face through his head when you see his face in cinema. But according to all reports, he's a stand-up guy. He's one of the nicest people that you'll ever meet. Paquito Diaz, Max Alvarado, if I remember correctly, Suba Serrero. These are character actors who play amazing villains who you want to punch in the face all the time. But according to reports, they're always, the nicest guys. And in this case, I would tend to agree with Miss Hino that the emperor from Niflheim, I completely forgot his name, did come across as this slimy bastard who you just wanna grind into dust. But in my case, I would say the character I dislike the most in Kingsglaive, Final Fantasy 15, is not one character. It's a group. It's the Kingsglaive itself. Because of the fact that in the end of it, I know we said no spoilers, but it's kind of telegraphed in the trailers in themselves
Movie's
anyway.
very good at that.
But yeah, the fact is that they turn on a dime and become traitors when the moment really counted. And the fact is, I dislike the fact that there was no explanation for them to do so. Sure, they can say, home and country and everything like that. But for them to be turned traitor at that crucial moment, there was no build up to it. Sure, you can say that, they were dissatisfied with what their king decided to do. But years of loyal service to the king does not explain away a sudden turn of traitorous motives in that crucial moment of the film. Honestly, the buildup kind of sucked into how that plot point was delivered in the movie. And yeah, I'm sorry but as a storyteller, that doesn't fly for me. You can't just, turn traitor at a moment's notice just because you feel like your king is making a bad decision at that one moment. No, it as a storyteller, as a plot point layouter, it doesn't work for me. Sorry to have to say this. Yeah.
Ironically, in a movie titled Kingsglaive, the Kingsglaive is the one thing that you care least about in the damn movie.
Precisely. There you go. Which kind of flows into it. So let's discuss the plot. I'm just gonna come out and say it. It's way too convoluted. There's just way too much crammed into such a short amount of time, an hour and 55 minutes, that if I were a casual walking into the theater, being dragged along by my brother who was a Final Fantasy 15 fanatic, or I'm a regular guy who plays shall we say Call of Duty or something like that. Yeah. And I hear it's a video game movie. Oh, cool. Let's go watch it. And then I'm sitting there in the cinema watching it, the screen. It's gorgeous. It's beautiful. But the plot doesn't make any sense to me, honestly. Yeah, sure. It requires multiple viewings and for you to understand the complexity of it. But I'm sorry to say, a cinema goer is there for 2.5 hours of entertainment. So at a certain point in the movie, I just shut off my mind in terms of plot line, and I just enjoyed it for the visuals. Sorry, but yeah,
it's definitely that kind of movie.
Yeah, let's go in reverse order. Jose, then Miss Hinu, then Kazumi. Jose, what's your opinion of the plot?
Yeah, it does. It's funny that this movie has too much going on, and Spirits Within didn't have that much going on. And they went they went from one spectrum to the other, where there's not enough story to there's too much story, because I watched this movie for the first time last night, and even then I was like, man, I should have watched this earlier in the week, because I really need to watch this a couple of times, because there's stuff happening, and then there's people being introduced, and then all of a sudden it's like another scene, and I'm like, whoa, wait, I still don't even know what's really happening over here. So it's like, hopefully when I play the game it kind of helps, but like I'm gonna have to rewatch this again just to get some of the things, like what's going on. I feel like you guys said, this is a movie you need to watch a few times just to be able to like get everything that's happening, and like you'll probably just notice things after so many rewatches that you didn't notice the first time.
How about you, Messina? What's your take on the plot? How it flows? How complicated it is? How it came across to you? And did you enjoy it?
I enjoyed the movie, but the plot was lost in the sauce. You have a prequel movie, you have the game proper, you have like DLC mini episodes of characters, you have an anime on the side, you have a novel. So like, I'm glad that FF15 has a lot of side content to it. But do you really need to tackle all of that side content just to understand what's going on in the game? And it's always hit or miss for Square when it comes to movies. As Jose mentioned earlier, nothing much going on for Spirits Within. We have, on the other hand, we have Kingsglaive with too much going on. So let's just follow the Advent Children route and go with fan service.
Completely agreed. Completely agreed.
Maybe that's the best, because there is no way that you can properly translate video game lore into a movie. Because in the first place, it's really hard to adapt video games into other formats. Because the amount of time you spend with a game versus the amount of time that you spend watching a series is vastly different. Most of the time you spend more time with the game. You live through it, you experience it, you go through it as opposed to watching. There are characters that are standing in for you. You're just a viewer. You're not the character. So I know it's an impossible task, but I hope that one day Square would find their footing when it comes to making these movies, because they just need to make a better pacing or flow when it comes to the story. The rest, they already have it. Graphics, music, Yoko Shimamura, congratulations on winning the BAFTA award. It's just the pacing of the story all over the place. Make something more digestible, or if not, fan service. No one's gonna complain with fan service.
Yeah.
Back to you guys.
All right, Kazumi, I want to hear your take on it, plot wise. What's your opinion?
No, I mean, I really do agree with everyone here. I think Kingsglaive, I think it's a very unique movie. I also don't like the fact that it's. I remember as I was playing through the game multiple times that I was thinking, like, why couldn't all of this been a game itself? You know. But then I remember how the game was going through a development hell, essentially.
Yeah.
So all I can think of is, like, where did the money go? What happened to the writing? What happened to the pacing? But for me, Kingsglaive is one of those so bad it's good type of. It borders into that kind of thing. That's pretty much all I have to say about it.
Yeah, I mean, it's just to follow up on that. I just don't like how. Well, it's one of the big. It's one of the big no-nos, one of the big sins of storytelling. at the very end of it, you pull out a MacGuffin, Deus Ex Machina that solves everything at the last second, and it doesn't really play into anything that happened before. I'm spoiling a little bit here, but kind of Lord of the Rings. It deals with a piece of jewelry. So yeah, they just pull that out of their asses at the very end of the movie. And suddenly it solves all the problems. But yeah, sorry to say, but from a storytelling point of view, unlike Lord of the Rings, where the One Ring has been a central character to the entire series from the very beginning, this ring just got pulled out at the very end, and it solved everything. So Deus Ex Machina, I'm sorry to say, it's like, where the hell did that come from? Shall we say that kind of
it's spirits within all over again.
Yeah, there you go. Oh my goodness, yeah, there you go. And it's just that. And Christopher Abastado kind of nailed it on the head here. I agree, Sir Joel, kind of mediocre. Yeah. I'm sorry to have to say, for all the graphical glory, for all the sound fidelity of the movie, because I watched it with speakers on and it was booming all throughout. The fight scenes were colossal and all that. Music was great. When you heard the Final Fantasy theme playing while the fireworks were going off, when you boot up the game and you hear the music and you hear the fireworks happening on the Kingsglaive movie, you emotionally
Somnus.
Yes, Somnus. You emotionally connect both together, but they flubbed it. They did not make the most of how well it could have been done as a connection. So yeah, I'm sorry to say, mediocre. It
Show not tell. Show not tell.
Yes, exactly. Show, don't tell. It requires multiple viewings, which is a grave sin when it comes to cinema. You want to watch it multiple times because it appeals to you. You don't want to watch it multiple times because you have to understand something. Sorry to have to say. All right, so yeah, we've had a lot of discussion here among the panel and, of course, and the audience. Right now, though, I do want to bring in somebody who's been really active in the audience and wants to express his opinion on Kingsglaive Final Fantasy 15. Jose, bring in Jonas.
Jonas, here he is.
Final Fantasy. I'm sorry, Kings. Final Fantasy.
Hold on.
I'm sorry,
I clicked it and it's not doing
Kingsglaive.
anything.
Final Fantasy 15.
This is the first time you've seen the movie, right?
Yeah, this is the first time I've seen the movie.
But
And-
you have played the game.
No.
You have not played the game
With
yet.
Final
Okay.
Fantasy 15, I've only played like the first 15 minutes. It's just during the tutorial, and with that tutorial, they teach you how to use the magic, how to use your weapons, and how to warp. Which
warp strikes.
Which I am glad that I did at least play the tutorial, because especially with the warping.
Yes.
Because they did so much of that in this movie. I tried Netflix and said, Netflix Australia was still showing Kingsglaive all up until up until May 4th. At first I thought watching it with Japanese audio with English sub, and the Japanese voiceover was talking, and for a good portion of it the subs are not showing. However, if you watch it with the English voice, then the English sub is perfectly in sync. Yeah, and I'm like, it's going to be annoying as hell if I do this, so I shifted back to English instead.
It works though. I mean, it's not overtly Japanese in itself. Kingsglaive, the way that it's done, it's semi-European when you really look at it. So yeah, it kind of works for the English dub anyway. Yeah,
It's kind of weird because they don't really look Asian at all in any way. So, you know what I mean? I mean, they for the most part, the character designs that they did kind of look Caucasian-y. Kind of.
Pretty much, yeah.
Pretty much. I can see some Hollywood actors kind of similarities in here. Like, for example, King Regis. He kind of looks like Christian Bale with
A
old
little
makeup.
bit, yeah. he's got that angular look to him, yeah. Well, since we're talking about the visual aspect, what was your opinion of the visual aspect of Kingsglaive?
They look good. I mean, I believe this is not the same studio that Square Enix used when they did
Yes.
Advent Children or even Spirits Within.
Spirits Within.
I think this is
Yeah.
called Studio 6. And
I think so, yeah.
for the most part, they all look great. Especially if they really are closing up with in their faces, and especially during whenever a character is given some dramatic dialogue, that you can really tell.
Yes.
Oh, especially during the third act where everything went to shit, like it all went batshit insane. Like you can still follow because with the first arc and the second arc, all right, you can still follow things along. And then when the third act happened, oh my god, that's where all of the CG went insane. We have come a long way.
Yes, I agree.
We have come a long way since Spirits Within. And
True, very true.
And to me, the best summary that I could probably give overall, Kingsglaive, this movie, did exceed everything that Advent Children did right, that the fans love, while avoiding everything that Spirits Within did wrong, that the fans hated.
Yes.
It's a story between the Lucis Kingdom and the Niflheim Empire. Okay.
Yes.
They're fighting over this crystal that holds so much power, and the Lucis Kingdom has that power, has that crystal.
Yes.
Lucis Kingdom, very much in tune with magic, and then the Niflheim Empire, they don't have that much magic, but they excel in technology. So more machinery on their part. And unfortunately, with the military technological might of Niflheim Empire, they were able to they were overpowered. Basically, they overpowered the Lucis Kingdom. They're losing territories left and right. And,
What can magic do against a bullet?
Bitch, what you gonna do? You can't fight us. Surrender now, okay? Either die on your feet or live on your knees. And then they said, okay, how about this? Okay, we will take every territory that you got except for your capital. Okay, and then we'll stop the hostilities. Oh, by the way, your crown prince and one of our princesses here, they need to hook up as a sign of goodwill, as a sign of peace. Okay, and, of course, there's nothing nefarious gonna happen. I mean, what can go wrong? So,
well, since we touched on that, how did the plot come across to you? And no spoilers in general. Like, sure, we can do spoilers, but not to the point where we reveal what happens throughout. How did the plot come across to you overall? Did you like how it unfolded? Was it well structured? Is it something that you enjoyed overall?
I cannot necessarily say it's a original plan. Like an original plot, because it kind of I'm thinking about it. I'm like, where have I seen this kind of, not necessarily an exact plot point. It kind of reminded of Troy, like
the Trojan horse,
like the Trojan horse.
Yes.
When the Empire tried what they did, I'm like, okay, that's a good way of infiltrating the capital.
Yes.
Sure. I'm not saying that they did exactly what the Trojan horse.
No, but the theme is the same.
The theme is basically the same,
Being
right?
able to go inside.
They were
true.
able to go inside. Oh,
yes.
When we say they went inside, because the Lucis Kingdom basically has this this big wall. It keeps everything away. It keeps every outsiders, those immigrants away because of this massive wall. Okay, it drives everyone, every undesirable out, while keeping us safe.
Well, you're saying that actually makes the argument for
it did make the argument for them.
What Niflheim did actually destroyed Insomnia. So you're basically making his argument for him, right? But in any case,
the wall's a very good idea, guys.
Yes, there you go. So, but then again, the storyline though it came across as similar in theme to the Trojan War, and I agree with that one. You put yourself in the shoes of somebody who's just going into the theater who has no idea about the video game. Does it work as a movie for you?
I would say a yes and a no. If I'm the type of person who would go with story than spectacle, this movie has both. It's a no in a way because during the ending, all the way it led up to the ending,
yeah,
it felt like it didn't really concluded the way it should.
Satisfactorily.
It's not very satisfactory because let's not forget this movie was designed to be a prequel for the game. So if you're going to judge it, does this movie stand on its own? Then
no, definitely not.
Definitely not. We did mention something about a marriage here. I'm like, okay, so so they introduced the bride. Where the hell is the groom? And I'm like,
that's the thing.
And I'm like, I was waiting for them to show the groom, and he was kind of there in the beginning.
He was mentioned a lot. He was mentioned a lot.
They keep mentioning his name, although he did made an appearance.
Yes.
Kind of during the first 10 minutes of the game. I think 10 minutes of the movie. The guy is waiting for you right over there. So from here, go there, meet with him, okay, and then live long and prosper. All right, the bride's like, all right, I'll do that.
What is your rating on this one?
I would say this is a must-watch. If Netflix in your country still carries this, go ahead and watch it. Out of the 3 Final Fantasy movies, okay, I would rate Kingsglaive as the best, Advent Children second, Spirits Within last. Because this is the problem that I had with Final Fantasy VII, Advent Children. Because that movie is basically an epilogue kind of thing. You need to play the game first before you go watch this.
So Jaw's rating is it's a must-watch. If it's available on Netflix, go catch it there and enjoy it for what it is, a movie with dazzling visuals, with an interesting plot, and overall, an interesting way to pass the time.
If Zack Snyder made a Final Fantasy movie,
that's an accurate assessment. Yeah,
this would be it, right?
And it has a chocobo in it.
And it has a chocobo in it.
Not the chocobo that you expect, but yeah.
No, there's no chocobo in this, like an actual chocobo. There is, but it's just a name. It's a delivery.
Yes, exactly.
You'll see. Oh, chocobo. Okay, where's the chocobo at?
Yes,
nothing.
That's pretty much it.
If anything, they might be eating it during the. They might be eating a chocobo meat.
Oh my gosh. All right. So that is Jaw's opinion on Kingsglaive, a Final Fantasy 15 movie.
Must watch, guys. Must.
All right. So that was Jaw of Jaw RPG giving his opinion on Kingsglaive Final Fantasy 15. Does everybody agree with his assessment? Let's hear.
No, that was amazing.
Yeah, let's hear Kazumi first. What did you think of Joe's opinion of the movie?
I think it was very spot on, pretty much.
Okay.
Yeah, I like the bit about the eating the chocobo at the end. Definitely on its own, it doesn't really. For me, it doesn't work. Like if I was clueless about it, I would have been even more lost. I was like, oh, great now. And then if I found out after watching the movie, that the game is not enough, I have to consume the anime and the book and I would be very frustrated, especially if I can only like movies, you know.
There you go.
When I went through the novel, I was just like, again, why can't this be in the game? Why can't we play through this? But you know, it's just, I guess it's Square Enix being Square Enix. I'm not a multi-billion-dollar company.
Now, let's get to the two people who love the movie that Joe rated as very last. Let's hear Miss Hinu's opinion on Joe's take on Kingsglaive. What do you think, Miss Hinu? Do you agree, disagree? Do you want to punch Joe in the face or in the nuts? But anyway.
No, I think if they just added the chocobo to the movie, everyone's opinion would change.
But they did have a chocobo in the movie, not a real chocobo.
No, a real chocobo. Maybe we just need a real chocobo and a Moogle somewhere, and maybe everyone's opinion would change.
But there was a chocobo in Final Fantasy Spirits Within, right? And you still loved it.
True.
See? And you still loved it, right?
True. But Aperos is pretty.
Fine. All right, fine. And that is pretty much the argument. And yeah, Jose, I know you're gonna disagree with Joe on that one. Go ahead.
Oh,
Drawing the breath from the very depth of his lungs, right there. Go ahead.
After my first watching, I would say that I like Spirits Within better.
Mhm.
Whoa.
I think I would have to watch this as many times as I've watched Spirits Within to just kind of consume and take everything in, and then I can give it a proper comparison between the two. Just because I've watched Spirits Within so many times, I'm reading the book, and I don't know. I gotta go Spirits Within, even though it doesn't look as pretty, and it doesn't give as much story. Spirits Within is a better movie for me, and then especially after the headcanon that we came up with during our review.
Okay.
it just makes it that much more better.
Yeah. Previous episode, guys, download the podcast where we discuss Final Fantasy Spirits Within, and you'll know what we're talking about. Pertinent question, Kazumi. Who's hotter, Aki or Lunafreya?
Uh-oh.
Sir Joe calling me out right here. The zero G
I'm putting Kazumi on the spot here. Aki or Lunafreya?
Here's the thing. I've never seen Advent Children. Not Advent Children. I've seen Advent Children. I've never seen Spirits Within.
Oh, you haven't? Okay.
Nope. So Luna's probably gonna win just because I don't know anybody else.
Okay. All right. So it's not a fair question. Yeah. For let's ask Miss Hinu then. Aki or Lunafreya?
Oh, look at that!
Shit, that stuff. We have childhood crush, and then we have adult crush.
Yep. There you go.
No, I since I'm very biased towards blonde characters, we're gonna go with Lunafreya. Whatever.
Was Lunafreya in? Yeah, because we saw Aki in that. We saw Aki in that Maxim picture in the bikini.
Because I have to say, Lunafreya is extremely beautiful. I have to say, she's gorgeous. But does she have the body to go along with it, though? I don't see her curves as much as I should have with all the clothes that she has. So that's something that we're getting into. Rule 34. All right. Rule 34. All right.
There you go.
Yeah. I don't even want to ask Jose the question because I know what his choice is going to be. Who his choice is going to be on this one. It's going to be Aki. But yeah. Pretty much. And Joe says, I would only go with Aki because at least we know she can get freaky. Good argument. Very good argument. Yeah. Very true.
In bed and in space.
Yep, absolutely. Very true. Very true. There you go. All right. So overall, let's bring it all back home. What is everybody's rating of the movie? Let's do. Shall we do one numerical rating, 1 to 10, or shall we do what Joe did? Must watch, rent it, or give it a pass. Which ones do you want to go with? Oh, let's make it panel's choice. Fine. You guys can rate it however you like. Kazumi.
Kingsglaive?
Yes.
Definitely, like, for me, because I just love Final Fantasy. I think about maybe like 7.4.
7.4 out of 10.
Yeah,
okay.
Definitely.
Okay. That's Kazumi's rating, 7.4 out of 10. Decent, but not overwhelmingly
Definitely give it a shot if you like flashy stuff. If you like Final Fantasy at all, like it's interesting, but it's confusing overall. Yeah.
Yeah. As a single viewing, it really just there's just way too much to digest in one sitting. All right, Miss Hino. Yeah, Miss Hino, what's your rating of Kingsglaive Final Fantasy 15? Your choice of metric.
This is coming from someone who rates FF15 as her second favorite Final Fantasy. I would suggest that people sail the seven seas.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because it's confusing, it's convoluted. You need to sift through a lot of different media just to understand the whole story. Seven Seas, Seven Seas. If you end up liking it, play the game, buy the DVD. Yeah.
All right, very fair assessment. Seek alternative sources is what Miss Hinu suggests. And Jose, what's your rating of Kingsglaive Final Fantasy 15 as a movie, as an experience?
I think after this one viewing, which might seem a little high after the one viewing, especially after what I said, I'm gonna say a 7 out of 10. Like, I think maybe after a few more rewatches and then digesting all the other extra Final Fantasy 15 media, I think it might go higher. It still won't reach Spirits Within levels, because Spirits Within levels goes beyond 10.
Maya
to the
moon.
But yes, I would say you would have to watch the movie and play the game, otherwise things will get lost. And the movie deserves a few rewatches for you to actually get everything that's happening.
I like Julius Blue Moon's reaction to this as to the choice between Aki and Luna. Julius Blue Moon says, "Me, I'm hot." There you go. Nice one, Julius. Excellent choice on that one. And in my case, the missus and my daughter rated it an 8 out of 10. I'd probably give it a flat 7. Because of the fact that, like I said, it as a moviegoer who's going in there with no familiarity of the characters, of the movie itself, of the game. If I sat down in a theater and watched it from beginning to end in one go, I would just come out of the movie theater completely confused as fuck. I'd say it was beautiful, it was gorgeous, it was cinematic, it sounded great, it rocked my balls. But yeah, I mean,
good, but what the hell?
Yeah, but I wouldn't come away from the theater utterly confused. Honestly, I would just not retain much of the plot, to the point that if you asked me afterwards, so what was it all about? I'd say a girl.
Absolutely.
It was about a girl. Yeah. And that was pretty much it. So yeah, that's my personal rating of it. 7 out of 10 as a cinema goer. It lacks quite a bit as a cinematic experience in terms of storyline. But you watch it for the. Actually, I would probably say one thing that I would do if it was playing on the large screen here at home, if I chanced upon it while it was showing in one of the free channels, I'd have it running in the background, just glance at it every now and then and appreciate how beautiful it is. But the plot wouldn't matter to me. Yeah, that's my rating of it. 7 out of 10. Enjoyed it for the one time that I watched it. Probably would not go out of my way to view it again in the future as a movie. Yeah. And as Christopher Abistado said earlier, mediocre storyline. Yeah. All right. So I guess it's time to bring it all home. Jose, take us home and have everybody describe where they can touch your grass.
All right. You guys can find me on all socials, all gaming platforms as Dark Gothic Fate right there. I think that's pretty much it. Just, this movie needs a few rewatches, so be wary of that if you do want to watch it. And you probably will have to digest some of the other media.
All right. And we have we have Miss Hinu. Where can they find you? What have you been busy with? And can they touch your grass?
You can touch my. You guys can find me socials at Hinotora right there. Everything's uniform from Twitter, IG, Facebook page, YouTube. I've recently posted my review for Shredder's Revenge, so you guys can check that out and see that I bought 2 pizzas because of this game made me crave for pizza. So, yeah, that's it for me. Back to you.
All right. And the special guest of the episode, we are extremely thankful for his having joined us and for his expressing his opinions on Kingsglaive Final Fantasy 15. Kazumi, tell us where they can find you, give us your promotions, and lay it all out for us.
Thanks for having me. It was really fun. You can find me on almost anything. You can find me on Twitter. I'm not calling it X. You can find me on YouTube and Twitch and TikTok as Morning Hearts. And the movie, I think it's still really, really good. Like for me, as a flashy little thing to put in the background, definitely. But yeah, no, it was great being here. Thank you so much for having me.
All right, wonderful. And thank you. We are very honored by your presence, and we hope to have you again in the future whenever we have a topic that interests you, or if you have any extra time, just grace us with your presence. We'll be very, very happy. And as for me, you can find me here always on Timeless Gamers Show as much as I possibly can, unless life gets in the way. I do stream occasionally still on twitch.tv, never again on Facebook, #FUFB. And sometimes on
FUFB.
Yeah, #FUFB. No way ever again. You guys can catch my rant as to what happened, as to why, a little bit of background history on who Banyagang Native is on twitch.tv. But yes, here in Timeless Gamer Show, we do our very best to make sure that everybody is not just entertained, but also educated on our interests. All right. And I guess that's it. Thank you so much to everybody. Thank you so much to our partners, BitMap Books and Streamyard. And I guess as our tagline goes, our games and bodies may grow out of date, but our gaming experiences will forever remain timeless. All right, guys. Enjoy the rest of the weekend, and we'll see you guys again next time.
For Hearth and Home.
Hearth and Home. For Hearth and Home, yes.
Hearth and Home!
It's like taking a second to play the outro.